Hey guys, it's Rebecca Oberstadt, and I didn't record an intro for this. I wasn't feeling all that great, and I've got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm using the Marvicorn palette. I went in with the shade Spray Tan at first, um, and of course you can see what I'm doing if you're, visually able to. But I've got a lot of stuff that's been going on in my life. My friend's 15-year-old daughter had a heart episode about a week and a half ago, and she just passed away about 3 days ago. And then the past 24-ish hours, I haven't been feeling that great myself. So you're getting a voiceover on this one. I'm using the ColourPop White Concealer. I was surprised that, number one, when I got this in my ColourPop order, that it looked like it was a quarter of it was empty already, like I had already used it, but I didn't, and I was surprised at how sheer it went on, and I did build it up just a little bit. It was a lot thinner in consistency than I thought it was going to be, and it stayed tacky well enough for me to apply the next shade. So far right now on my lid, all I have is Spray Tan on. And I didn't really do a whole lot with the rest of my makeup. I put a little bit of concealer under my eyes, but there's quite a few looks that I recorded where I didn't do a whole lot of face makeup or anything like that, just because I have not been feeling that great. I've been having a rough patch with my fibromyalgia, and then I ate something that didn't agree with me. This is the shade Tongue Pop. It is a hot pink shade, so I started off with a nice rich like a neutral undertone brown, and then I'm going in with the hot pink shade. So I wanted something colorful out of this palette, because they do really have only 3 colorful shades. The rest of this palette is pretty neutral, so I think you could get away with doing everyday work looks with this palette. And the funny thing is, when I looked for this palette, I know BH stopped selling it. You cannot find it on their website, but you can buy it from Ulta. There I'm taking off like extra powder or whatever, and I'm going into the shade K by, and I'm putting that on the inner half of my lid. So you figure I worked Spray Tan throughout my crease and my lower lash line. I put Tongue Pop from the outer edge of my eye halfway in, and I'm going over the inner half of my eye with K by. And I noticed that it just wasn't as metallic as I wanted it to be, so I did go in with my finger and press over it with a little bit of shadow. And I carried that under my lash line as well, because I just wanted it to be a little bit more impactful. I'm then going into the Sheesh highlighter shade, which is the lightest of the 3, popping that on my brow bone and my inner corner. And I'm taking the Aurora Lights palette. I'm going into the shade. That shade is the shade Magical. It's kind of like a hot pink shifting kind of, it's like a pinky orange shift to it, and I am pressing that over the Tongue Pop shade, because the Tongue Pop shade is a matte shade. And just looking at it, I was like, okay, it doesn't quite match the K by shade, so I wanted something that would be comparable, so I just kind of tapped over that shade. I'm going in with the ColourPop white eyeliner in my waterline, and I tell you what, this white eyeliner is probably whiter than the L'Oreal one that I have that lasts in my eyes. The L'Oreal one lasts for like 18 hours on me. And then I'm using the white liquid liner from ColourPop as well, and I'm going above my lash line with it. I did notice that all of the colored shadows on my lid transferred off onto this product. I was a little disappointed about that, but I did try and wipe the felt tip off as best as possible, because it did transfer quite horrendously. But the opacity on this liner is really good. The staying power is really good. I think I wore this look for like 14 hours. Here I'm going in drawing a heart as best as I can on my, eyelid. And trying to do this with one hand and not stabilizing my eye or pulling my eye out a little bit was more difficult than it looks. I'm then going to take the Bahamas shade and press that into the center of the heart. And the heart lasted about 2 hours on my eyelids, and just from my lids folding up on themselves, it didn't, you could see the heart outline, but the purple had then migrated other locations by that point. So, yeah, probably not a good idea to do something like this with hooded eyes, because it looked like some little weird blob on the center of my eye after about 2 hours. It's kind of funny. My dad's like, what is that weird? Is that supposed to be a heart? He goes, that's a weird, it's a sick looking heart, Rebecca. I'm like, well, you know, it is what it is. And I'm taking that Bahamas shade right up underneath my lash line as well, as kind of like a pop of color kind of liner to tie in with the purple. It's cute. I think if I was to do another heart like that, I would put it up probably on like my, under my brow bone, or on my like the actual brow ridge on my eye, instead of on my actual mobile lid where it's, if you can see it now, it's folding. Now I'm going into the shade Savage. This is the warm undertone brown in this palette. It has this like reddish purple hue to it, and I'm using a dual-ended Luxie brush so I can do like crease work and a little bit more detailed work. I was surprised at the undertone of this. I thought it would be like more of a richer brown, and it kind of came off more burgundy on my skin. And doing multiple looks with one palette, it kind of gave me a better understanding of how these shadows played well with each other. I went in with Fodder and put that above the Savage shade on my brow to kind of like blend out that top line a little bit and diffuse it. And Fodder is a neutral tone, like a taupe shade. And I'm taking Sheesh again, worked that on my brow bone and my inner corner. And now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my lid. I did end up using the Galaxy Chic palette with this look as well. I went in with the shade 8000. This is the center heart, the darker of the three hearts for this part. And this is like your neutral everyday kind of like going to work, don't get in trouble with the boss kind of neutral look. It's a beautiful like bronzy gold shade that's in the palette. It's too dark for my skin tone to wear as a highlight, but it works perfectly as a lid shade. And then I'm just pressing over it to make sure it's all even and stuck to my lid. I like doing that to kind of press the shadow down a little bit. And then I'm going to carry a little bit of it underneath my eye as well to bring some light down there. I tried sticking with only BH Cosmetics palettes, but if you have similar shades in your collection, instead of, you know, if you don't have this palette. Alright, now I'm going in with the Moana shade, and I'm tapping that in the center for a pop of blue effect. It's a pretty turquoisey shade. But if you don't have these palettes, you can always find comparable shades in other palettes that you have. And using my finger, I brought that down a little bit too low in the center of my bottom lash line. Again with the ColourPop white eyeliner. And I'm sorry that, you know, for those of you that do not like voiceovers, but as I sit here editing this at my desk, I am sitting with a heaty pad on my stomach because I don't know what I ate, but my stomach has been messed up since about 4 o'clock the morning before, and it's currently 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm editing this. I took the black shade called Breakdown and used it with a angled brush from BH Cosmetics to do like a faux liner on this, because, you know, I wanted to see how well the black worked. A little bit of fallout there, just a little bit. Mainly it was the shimmer shades that fell down. But there are two more looks with the BH Cosmetics Marvycorn Palette. I think if you have these shades in your collection, other palettes, then you could easily recreate something like this. And don't ask me what mascara I put on, I forgot. I've been doing so many Battle of mascaras lately, I can't keep them straight anymore. But this is the finished look, and I did include some pictures afterwards, so hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of voiceover tutorial. I have a couple coming. I wanted to include some still pictures as well, so you could see what this looked like with the camera instead of just on video, because I do find that pictures change the way the shadows look. Like some things look blended, and then you take a picture of it and it's like, oh my god, did I not blend that? So that's why I wanted to include these here. If you like the video, then please feel free to toss a like on it and leave me a comment and let me know what you think of these two looks. And feel free to subscribe if you would like to. I've lost quite a few subscribers lately, but most of them are stated as like closed accounts, which is no big deal for me. But I do enjoy getting comments on my videos, and hopefully you guys like this tutorial. Like I said, I have not been feeling the greatest, so there's going to be a few of these where I do voiceovers, or I was recording at like 4:30 in the morning and I didn't want to wake my dad up, so doing makeup looks without talking kind of is a win-win. So hopefully you enjoy. I'm Rebecca Oberstadt. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.